Number 9. Introduced in 2020 as his personal masterpiece, the Gordon Murray Automotive T50 is essentially the spiritual successor to the F1, and it's packed with innovations that would make even NASA blush. Under its hood sits an incredible naturally aspirated 3.9-liter Cosworth V12, lovingly handcrafted and tuned to a symphonic 12,100 RPM redline. Yes, you read that correctly, 12,100 RPM. This engineering marvel pumps out 654 horsepower and 344 torque, making it the most power-dense, naturally aspirated road-going V12 engine ever built. The T50 ditches the conventional obsession with top speed for pure driving exhilaration. But rest assured, it'll still happily launch from 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds, while its manual gearbox ensures you're grinning like a kid with a new toy at every gear shift. Number 8. Back in the early 90s, while most folks were jamming to grunge music or rewinding VHS tapes, Bugatti was busy crafting something far more exciting: the groundbreaking EB110. Launched in 1991 to celebrate founder Ettore Bugatti's 110th birthday, this supercar was Bugatti's extravagant return after decades of automotive silence. At its heart beat a gloriously excessive 3.5-liter V12 engine. Not just any V12, but one equipped with 4 turbochargers because clearly, 1 or 2 weren't enough to impress the neighbors. This quad-turbo marvel produced an astonishing 553 horsepower in the base GT version and a tire-scorching 603 horses in the even more bonkers Supersport variant. Fun fact, the EB110's engine was a technical masterpiece, featuring 5 valves per cylinder, because apparently, Bugatti engineers believed more valves equaled more fun. But complexity came at a cost. Servicing an EB110's engine often felt less like routine maintenance and more like open-heart surgery performed by a rocket scientist. Number 7. Introduced at the 1964 Geneva Motor Show, the 350 GT wasn't just Lamborghini's debut car. It was a stylish slap in Ferrari's face. Under its hood sat a beautifully crafted 3.5-liter V12 engine designed by Giotto Bizzarini, the automotive equivalent of hiring Mozart to compose your car's symphony. With 280 horsepower delivered smoothly through a silky smooth 5-speed manual gearbox, the 350 GT wasn't just powerful, it was refined. 0 to 60 came in just under 6.5 seconds, and the 350 GT confidently cruised to a top speed of about 158 miles per hour. Plenty fast enough in the mid-1960s to impress even the snobbiest Ferrari owner. Lamborghini's sophisticated V12 featured 6 Weber carburetors, meaning tuning it wasn't exactly a backyard job, unless your backyard happened to employ a small army of Italian mechanics. Fun fact, Bizzarini was initially paid a bonus for every horsepower over Ferrari's engines, motivating him to squeeze out every pony he possibly could. Number 6. Debuting at the 1966 Paris Motor Show, the GTB4 quickly became the envy of every gearhead with a pulse. Beneath its gracefully curving hood rested a mechanical gem, a 3.3-liter Colombo V12 engine, now upgraded with 4 overhead camshafts. With 6 Weber carburetors eagerly feeding fuel into 12 hungry cylinders, this Italian beauty produced around 300 horsepower, launching it from 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. A blistering pace, in an era when seatbelts were optional and airbags were a distant sci-fi dream. The quad-cam V12 sang an unforgettable mechanical symphony at full throttle, considered by enthusiasts as one of the most incredible sounds ever crafted by human engineering. Fun fact, each cylinder head had 2 camshafts, doubling the complexity and inevitably causing mechanics to stare lovingly and somewhat nervously whenever one rolled into the shop. Number 5. Born in the 1950s, the 250 series wasn't just one car, but a whole family of stylish siblings, from elegant GT cruisers to fierce racing legends. At the heart of each was Ferrari's magnificent Colombo V12, a compact 3.0-liter engine whose exact displacement per cylinder inspired the car's identity. This jewel-like V12 typically churned out between 220 and 300 horsepower, depending on how much espresso the factory workers had consumed that morning. The 250 series didn't just shine on public roads. It dominated racetracks worldwide, securing multiple wins at Le Mans, Sebring, and the Targa Florio, proving Ferrari knew a thing or two about going fast and looking good doing it. Number 4. The 212 Inter was one of Ferrari's early road cars, a follow-up to the 166 and 195 models, and it helped cement the brand's reputation as not just a race car builder, but a creator of rolling Italian art. Under its long hood lived a Colombo-designed 2.6-liter V12, modest by today's standards but beautifully engineered. It shared its engine block design with Ferrari's race cars. With about 150 horsepower, the 212 Inter could hit a top speed of around 120 miles per hour, which in the early 50s felt like warp speed, especially when paired with drum brakes and skinny tires. Unlike modern Ferraris, which scream, "Look at me," the 212 Inter was a bit more subtle, still gorgeous, but in a tailored suit kind of way. Carrozzeria Ghia, Touring, and Vignale each dressed up the 212 in their own unique designs, making no two quite the same. Number 3. Born in 1950, the 195 Inter was essentially the elegant road-going cousin of Ferrari's track-dominating racers. It followed the 166 Inter and brought with it more power, more refinement, and more jaw-dropping coach-built bodies, courtesy of legendary design houses like Ghia, Touring, and Vignale. Under the hood was a 2.3-liter version of Gioacchino Colombo's legendary V12, an engine so smooth it made most straight sixes of the time feel like farm equipment. With around 130 horsepower on tap, it might not sound like much today, but for the early 1950s, it was plenty potent, enough for a top speed of about 110 miles per hour, or in period terms, hold on to your hat. It was mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox, a real novelty when most cars back then barely had 4. Only 28 were ever made, making it rarer than a quiet Italian dinner table. Number 2. Debuting in 1948, the 166 Inter was Ferrari's first true Grand Tourer, aimed not at racetracks but at the open roads of Europe. It was essentially a civilized evolution of the 166S racing car, taking that motorsport DNA and wrapping it in a tailored suit courtesy. Speaking of that growl, the 166 Inter housed a Colombo-designed 2.0-liter V12, yes, V12, from an era when many cars still sounded like angry sewing machines. With around 90 horsepower, it could reach about 105 miles per hour, which was wild for a gentleman's cruiser in 1948. Only 38 examples were built, so finding one today is like spotting a unicorn sipping Chianti. Number 1. Born in 1947, this was the very first vehicle to wear the prancing horse badge. Enzo Ferrari, ever the race fanatic, wasn't exactly keen on making road cars yet. The 125S was a purebred racer right out of the gate, built to conquer the tracks and make some noise. Its debut came at the Piacenza circuit, where Enzo famously dubbed the car's first race a promising failure, after a fuel pump issue took it out of contention. Victory at the Grand Prix of Rome, not bad for a newcomer. Under the 125S's hood was a marvel, a 1.5-liter V12 designed by the legendary Gioacchino Colombo. That's right, a V12 with just 1.5 liters of displacement, proving that Ferrari knew how to squeeze out performance with finesse from day one. With 3 Weber carbs feeding the beast, it pumped out 118 horsepower. Only 2 125S units were built, and neither survives in original form today.